Hello, and welcome to the webinar covering the Agile Ticketing Update for version 6.27. We are very excited to introduce you to the significant benefits to the Agile Ticketing System. The first enhancement we are going to cover today is with credit card fees. We have added options to allow charging a defined percentage if a customer is paying with a credit card. This can be a required convenience fee, or it can be set up as an optional donation to cover the fees on the order. Let's take a look. We will start by getting this new feature set up under the Settings folder and System Control. I will scroll down to the credit card recovery area. Here I can choose a donation program or variable fee to apply the money against in the system. I'll click on the magnifying glass icon to search for the program or fee to assess the money against. I will choose the Cover Credit Card Fees for Agile Theater donation program and click OK. I can set the percentage rate that we are wanting to cover. This can be different depending on your merchant processor. I will set ours to 3.25%, as that is roughly the fees assessed on average for our credit card processing. I can choose whether this fee is required or optional. In this case, I'm going to make it optional, and I will choose to default the option to yes. They'll be opted in. Apply those changes. I'm also going to jump over to our donation program settings. And we're going to set some things up over here. The sales channels will determine where this credit card donation will be activated on. Right now we'll have it online and also at the box office. And also if I jump over to our web descriptives to the short description, this is where I can put text that the customer will see to be prompted for the donation. I can include replaceable fields of fee and total, as shown in my example. Let's take a look at what customers will see online. I will add some tickets to an event and proceed on through the checkout process. Once I get to the payment page and scroll down to the credit card payment section, I see the question that I posed in the short description. Would you like to help the Agile Theater by donating 88 cents or 3.25% to cover the credit card fees? Your total will be $27.88. And I can choose to leave that selected as yes or no. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and say, yep, I'll go ahead and donate those fees. And we'll go ahead and finish out this order. And we can see that the fees itself was assessed as a separate line item on this order, noting that they covered those fees for the Agile Theater. Now let's take a look at how this is presented in the sales app. I will add some tickets to my order. I see that the option at the bottom of the payments area tells me how much that fee is going to be, or that donation amount will be, as well as the order total if that person wants to include that donation as part of their order. We can uncheck this if the customer doesn't want to do that. And also to note, if the customer pays with cash or any other payment type other than credit card, this is not included in the order total. So I'll go ahead and pay for this with the credit card. And I can pull up that last order, and we can see that the 75-cent fee, or the 75-cent donation to cover the credit card fees, is also along with the order. As mentioned earlier, this can be set up as a required fee that is assessed when a customer pays with credit cards. There are specific rules that the card issuers have defined with assessing a required fee for credit cards. Also, there may be local or state laws that need to be followed when setting up a required fee. It is up to the organization to verify they are adhering to all these rules and restrictions. The next enhancement on our list is the ability for agents to use a customer's stored payment method in the sales app. Vaulting customer cards is a feature that has to be enabled by an Agile Ticketing support agent. Up until now, customers have been able to use their vaulted cards to more quickly check out online. We have added the ability for agents to also use these saved cards during an order. Let's take a look. This feature can be turned on or off for users based on their roles in the permissions area. You may want to allow only certain agents to add, edit, and use a customer's stored payment methods. This can be set under the admin permissions area as the customer stored payment methods permission. As an administrator, I see that I have access in my organization. With this turned on, I can go to pull up a customer. I will pull up Johnny Lemons and take a look at his stored payment methods. I notice that his MasterCard payment is expired, and I'll delete that and add a new record. And I can choose to make this the default or not. The default payment method is the one that the system defaults to when paying online or for auto renewal activity. Now that we have verified his payment methods are up to date, let's jump into the Sales app and take a look. We will start by adding the customer to this order. I will add a few tickets. In the payment options, we can see that the stored payment methods are available, and I can choose that default one and finish the order. This feature can come in real handy for customer service scenarios as well. If a customer has to call in for something, you can just pull up their account and use their saved payment method instead of them having to provide the number again over the phone. The next enhancement on our list are some adjustments to our donation options in point of sale and online. We have added new ways to present donation options to the agent during a sale to remind them to ask about the options during an order. Online, we have made some adjustments to the look and feel of the page to make it more mobile friendly. Let's take a look. If we look at the settings in point of sale mode, we see under donation settings the option for suggested prompt. This can be set to none, at payment, or inline. The none option is pretty self-explanatory as it will not prompt for donations. The agent can still apply a donation by choosing the donation button on the top icon bar, but it will not be presented in the flow of the order. If we look at the inline option, we see that when I add tickets to this order, a new button pops up notating that and starts blinking, noting that donations are available. Whenever I click on that, I see the donation programs that are meant to be prompted for during the order. And I can either choose to a level and add, or I can just close that out again. If we change this option to at payment, the prompt is a little more forceful and will automatically pop up the donation options whenever payment is applied. If I swipe a card, click a quick pay key, or click the payment button, the donation option will appear before I choose how to pay. We'll go ahead and test that out now. With it set to at payment, whenever I attempt to choose the payment method, it goes ahead and pops up in the flow in order to ask whether to make a donation or not. So these new settings allow you to control how the agent gets reminded to ask about donations in a way that will work with your payment flow. Let's jump over to the donation page online to take a quick look at the changes there. The first thing to notice is that we have updated the overall look of the page to more closely match the event information page. Also, we have changed from using the smaller radio button options to making the amount selection an easily clickable button. I can choose what amount I want to give and decide whether I want that to be a one-time donation or a 12-month pledge. The next enhancement on our list are some changes to the online portal. We've added the ability to edit custom properties. Also, we can get our web links and update our look and feel info for our online presence. Let's take a look. I will click on the settings option in the portal. I see that there's a new option under web for entry point groups. In this area, I can access all the different web links that we have set up. And I can also edit the web branding. This allows me to define the logo, images, colors, and other settings for these links. I'll go back to the settings area. I see the new option under general settings for custom properties. In the custom properties area, I can edit ones that are already defined, or I can add a new one. I'll go ahead and add a new one called category. And go ahead and give it a few suggested values. We can use this category as a filter option for events. This next enhancement is also related to custom properties. We have added the ability to define custom properties at the showing level. Up until this point, you could only set custom properties at the show level. This will allow you to set properties that are specific to a particular showing that may be different from others. One good example may be that certain showings support specific accessibility options that others may not. So let's take a look. I'll go under showings in the portal. I'll pull up a show time that has specific accessibility options. I'll scroll down to the custom properties area, add the information about the accessibility options, such as open caption. And we'll go ahead and add another one for amplified headphones and save. And again, this is being set on that one particular show time. Any of those custom properties that are set at the show level still apply overall, but these are ones specific at this lower, more detailed level. Now, when I visit the list of events or look at the show times on the show info page, I can see that special property those collection of special properties being called out specifically. And we could have as many as needed defined at the showing in order to properly describe the details of this event. These custom properties are also included in our API so that you can differentiate these values for customized web views. The next enhancement on our list is with tips entry. We have added options to add receipt-based tips to an order right as they are completed. Let's take a look. We will start an order in POS mode. I will pay for it with a credit card. If the customer decided to leave a gratuity, we can hit the tips icon for that last order. I can either type in that tip amount or use the up and down buttons to adjust the tip and accept. If more than one credit card payment was applied on this order, we can choose from those available in the drop-down. and I can adjust one tip or both. And if I need to go back to an order from earlier, I can do an order search. And I can adjust the tips on that order if it's allowed by the merchant. One thing to note is that tips processing like this is not available on all merchant types. Check with your Agile Ticketing support rep if you are interested. The next enhancement on our list is with event voting. We have added options to vote by barcode instead of by customer account. Also, we have added more options to define the voting time window. Let's take a look. We will go to the web folder and look at our voting entry points. I see that we have a customer-based and barcode-based voting options defined. The new barcode voting option expands the voting capabilities we have offered for several years. If we open up the properties of this voting link, we can see the options for voting mode can either be customer or barcode. And if it is based on barcode, ticket holders will have an option to visit the page and enter their barcode to vote. It is also possible to put a voting link on their digital ticket so they can click and vote quickly without having to type the barcode. So let's go ahead and jump over and take a look at this. Here I can enter a few barcodes and vote for these items. In this case, our time window has not begun since this event has not actually started yet. And I can also enter a barcode again. If I voted earlier, in case I changed my mind, I can update that vote. As long as the voting window is still open, the customer can enter their ticket barcodes and vote. We can adjust these time windows in a few different ways. We can define when voting starts and stops. We can define to include events between a start and an end date. And we can say that voting can be disabled for an event a certain number of hours after the event has ended. Our last enhancement is some changes to the formatting in custom reports. We have added options to how custom pivot-based reports can get formatted and added an option to set either portrait or landscape layouts for PDFs. Let's take a look. I will pull up reports and pull up a custom report that we've made previously. I'll go to the settings in order to edit this report. I'll set the parameters so we can have some data to work with. And I'll scroll past the summary section and go to the detailed section of the report. By default, with the pivot section type, it will group together all those columns and rows that have the same values in order to make sort of a staggered grouped view. And we can see that happening with the folder and subsequent columns. We can click on the new Split Merge Cells option to have those values repeated for each row. And I'll also uncheck Show Subtotals. This now provides a format where we can read straight across the row to get all the needed values. Also, we added the option for the report layout below. This will allow you to swap from portrait to landscape so you can have a wider report fit on a page for PDF exports.